what's up, nerds? Welcome back to Guys That Magic. I'm Shane, and that's Dave. Say what up, dude.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody?
Today is another day of spoilers. It is, I think, the official second-ish day. I don't know. Whatever. It is 9/4, and that is September 4th. I don't know why I said it 9/4. We got new spoilers. We don't have too many. They're kind of stretching out the spoiler cadence, I guess. Got some rares to talk about. Got some uncommons to talk about. But let's just jump right into it. This first card we're talking about today is Hedge Shredder. It's 2 and 2 green for a 5/5 artifact vehicle. It says when it attacks, you may mill 2 cards. It also says whenever one or more land cards are put into your graveyard from your library, put them onto the battlefield tapped. And it's got a crew cost of just 1. That's some pretty cool, like, ramping.
That is potentially really powerful.
Yeah. It's cool that it's going to be maybe in a deck that cares about the graveyard already with Delirium and whatnot, and then just kind of just feeding you tons of land.
Yeah, I mean, any kind of like self-mill deck, I think that this is going to slot probably just directly into, because this can ramp you a ton. If you mill over 2 or 3 lands, you just put them directly into play, so that's going to be really powerful. They do
Yeah.
fortunately come in tapped.
Yeah, that's fine. It's whatever. And it's 4 mana, so it's not going to be coming in too early, but I still think it'll put in enough work. I like it.
Yeah, I think this card's really interesting because this is a vehicle that I don't know if I'm ever actually going to want to make it a creature. I know that it could potentially feed itself, so I guess if I have nothing better to do, but that makes it a little bit more vulnerable. I think I just want this to kind of like just chill there and ramp me.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to the next one. Easy. This is a word that I had a lot of fun trying to figure out. Balustrade Wurm. I think I said that correctly. It's 3 and 2 green for a 5/5 worm. The spell can't be countered. It's got trample and haste. It also has Delirium, where you can pay 2 and 2 green. Return Balustrade Wurm from the graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Activate only if there are 4 or more card types among cards in graveyards and only as a sorcery. I don't know how to feel about this card, because it's like a 5/5 for a body you can maybe play twice. Was that why it's cool?
I mean, it is potentially cool for that. I don't know if I like this as a rare Trample Haste 5/5. That's cute. The fact that it could potentially come back a second time, I think it's also just kind of like cute. Um, I don't know. It's recursive and it's really good up against removal. So I think that might just be probably why this is a rare.
I guess that's true. Delirium
I I,
is... Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say I think for limited this card could potentially be fairly powerful. Just like help you to push through some damage. I don't actually think this is like a super bomb or anything like that. But I don't know if this has a home outside of that.
Nah, I don't think it's a super bomb either. But playable nonetheless, like you said, limited, cool, sure. This is the first time you're seeing this border too. What do you think of these borders?
I don't like them, to be completely fair. I understand that everybody has their own taste, and like I
I
think it's
know.
really cool that we're doing different borders and different treatments because obviously there's going to be some people out there that really love this kind of style. It's just not for me personally.
I think it's funny that you say that because I was all over this border. I'm sure you knew that.
I could probably sense it. You're a huge like sci-fi '80s fan, and I feel like that's kind of what this card reminds me of.
Yep, yep. All right, well, that's fine. I'll like them. I'll take them all. Move on. The next one is Rollercrusher Ride for X2 and a red. The legendary enchantment. It's got Delirium. It says if a source you control deals non-combat damage to a permanent or player while there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, it deals double that damage instead. It also says when it enters, it deals X damage to each of up to X target creatures. Is that a good board wipe?
No,
No? Yeah, I don't know. I
I
like the
don't. I don't think
Delirium
this
part.
is. Yeah, I don't think this is a board wipe.
Well, I'm just saying, like, potentially, I guess.
If you have a ton of mana to sink into it, but like if you only have 5 mana, deal, I guess. Well, assuming that you also pay the additional 3, deal 5 damage to up to 5 creatures. I think that this is a card that you probably need to have Delirium online
Oh,
in order
100%.
for this to probably just see play. And I think because of that, I don't think this card's very good.
I would totally agree. That's why I was like, yeah, you're not dealing 5 damage. I'm on the board of you need to have Delirium for this card to be what I'm thinking of it is in my head. Because then you're dealing 10 damage to 5 things, and that is probably killing 5 things.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, the fact that it is just like 2 target creatures, that you can't hit face with this, I feel like that
Yeah,
restriction on a card like this is just, it's a little too narrow for me.
that's true. But I guess on the flip side, you could just pay 3 mana, and if you do have Delirium, all the non-combat damage you're doing to players still doubles, right? So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's got flexibility. It is a legendary enchantment, so it'll sit around. Interesting. It's a roller crusher, not a roller coaster. I don't know if you saw that part.
I did see that part.
Good, good. All right, let's move on then. The next card is Marina Vendrell's Grimoire. 5 and a blue for a legendary artifact. It says that when it enters, if you cast it, draw 5 cards. Crazy. You have no max hand size, and you don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. Also says whenever you gain life, draw that many cards. And then it says whenever you lose life, discard that many cards. Then if you have no cards in hand, you'll lose the game. Quite the downside if you have no cards in hand, but there's a lot of text on this card, dude.
Well,
Yeah, just digest that. It's a lot.
that is a lot. So obviously 6 mana to draw 5 is a massive upside. I like the second text on the card as well. Third text, obviously, that's going to be really powerful. You put this into a life gain deck or any kind of deck that has the potential for life gain, and you start just drawing absolutely like nuts amounts of cards. There are some scary ways that you can lose the game very quickly here.
Yeah, it's called have no cards in hand, and you're done.
Or if you have no cards left in your deck and your opponent just deals with this.
That's true too. Ooh, yeah, I don't like that.
So like hopefully you drew a counter spell or maybe a couple to keep this up.
Yeah.
Also, does this potentially kill you on a wheel effect? Anything like discard your hand, then draw that many cards? Because you will at least momentarily have 0.
That's a question for someone above my pay grade. No idea.
Actually, I don't think that you do because it's stable to also honor that same line of text there is that whenever you lose life, discard that many cards. So I think that you have to lose life and also have 0 cards in hand.
Oh. Then if you have no cards in, oh, okay. Interesting. Well, regardless, I think there's a lot going on this card. So cool. Interesting for sure.
Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Is it good? I have no idea.
It kind of scares me. There's a lot to read and a lot to understand, but I kind of like it. I'm a blue player at heart, all right? Next up, we got another room. This is your first time seeing a room, Dave. We got Funeral Room and Awakening Hall. Funeral Room is 2 and a black. It says whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. And then the Awakening Hall is 6 and 2 black. It says whenever you unlock this door, return all creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Dave, like I said, first time you're seeing the door, or a room, or whatever, you get to cast them for either of them, and then you have to pay the other side of it to unlock it on the field. Only at sorcery speed.
Funeral Room, I think, is cute. These kind of like drain effects are always nice. I think that we have probably hit a critical threshold where there are enough of them, and specifically like there are enough of them that have additional upside. Whether that be like they are stapled onto a creature themselves, so they have the potential to like just proc on itself, or they like do other things. That I'm not super sold on Funeral Room. Awakening Hall, I would like to say that I like it, but 8 mana is just so intensive. Just gonna, I'm gonna write that off as just like not actually being a thing.
It truly is. But hey, interesting card design. I was telling Hunter it's not super flashy, but it just seems safe almost kind of thing. Not like revolutionary, but it's cool. All right, next one. Haunted Screen. It's an artifact for 3. You can tap it, add a white or a black. You can tap it, pay 1 life, add a green, blue, or red. Or you could pay 7, put 7 +1/+1 counters on Haunted Screen. It becomes a 0/0 spirit creature in addition to its other types. Activate only once. Do you like this 3 mana rock, Dave?
I don't like 3 mana rocks. This one at least like can tap for any color of mana. 3 of them will hurt me.
Yeah.
I don't know. This one is cute in that like in the later portion of the game, whenever your mana rocks really don't do a whole lot for you anymore because you've already ramped and you have enough mana for your things. This does potentially like have the ability to close the game.
Yeah, that's true.
And you also don't have to tap it as part of that paying 7, so like it can feed into itself.
It's very true, actually. It's also just very strange to activate only once. Not like once per turn, just like once.
Yeah.
Hunter was saying that he liked the flavor here. What is the flavor, like 7 days kind of thing? I don't I don't get it.
I have no idea.
Well, Hunter, help us. I like it though. I like 3 mana rocks. This one taps for Wooburg potentially. Pretty cool. Moving on. Floodpits Drowner for 1 and a blue. It's a 2/1 merfolk. Cool. It's got flash and vigilance. And it says when it enters, tap target creature and opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. And then it also says you could pay 1 and a blue, tap it, shuffle Floodpits Drowner, and target creature with a stun counter on it into their owner's library. I kind of like that.
I like this card a lot.
That is some good removal right there. Damn.
This is so good. Not only does this get rid of like a threat, but it potentially reloads this for you. Also, the artwork on this card, this is the ugliest merfolk I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like a nightmare merfolk. I don't know what the hell's going on. Ew. This is really good though. If you're playing merfolk, maybe if you're not even playing merfolk, but if you're definitely playing merfolk, I'd think about adding this card to your deck. I like it.
Yeah. Put this in like a control shell. That way you can flash this in. Done one of their things. Maybe use this. I don't know. You could potentially even like later on block with this and then use its ability to like prevent
That's
that
true.
block and shuffle this back in. This
Ooh.
is gonna be an annoying card.
I didn't think about that. That's awesome. I feel like Hunter would like this in that deck he made, the Icy Crown girl.
The Hilga or Helga or whatever her
yeah,
name is. Hilda.
Hilda. Because she wants to tap things down, like, be a good target for tapping stuff down.
Oh yes.
I love it. It's a merfolk that does cool stuff. I'm on board. We got a couple more to talk about. This next one is Insidious Fungus. For 1 green mana, it is a creature fungus, a 1/2. It says you could pay 2, sacrifice Insidious Fungus, and choose 1. Destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or draw a card, and then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. I think people just, this is just good versatility, I would think. Right?
Yeah, I think this card is actually really good.
Pretty gas for, it's 3 mana in total to do the thing, but I like it.
Yeah, you drop this on turn 1. And then even at that, like it is a 1/2, so chances are it has the potential to block. And then whenever you no longer need this, whenever you have a threat that you need to get rid of, you eliminate your opponent's thing,
Yeah.
or you replace this.
Yeah. This reminds me of, help me, the one that does similar other abilities, but the last one is like proliferate, I want to say. It's like you can destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment, or then proliferate. Similar? I don't know. I'm sorry. Whatever. Thank you for helping me, though.
You're welcome. I didn't help at all.
Yeah, no, I talked myself out of that one real quick. Somebody will know what I'm talking about. It's very similar. Probably costs like 3, I think. Whatever. Cool, though. It's a fungus, Dave.
Yeah, I like this card a lot. I think that this probably is like, I don't know. This has the potential, I think, to get there in actual constructed formats. I would probably play around with this in Commander just because I really like 1-drop creatures and little utility pieces, and this is just fantastic at that.
Definitely. I think things that give you the flexibility to like destroy kind of anything, and then draw a card that's just good. So if there's nothing to destroy, you just draw a card and ramp.
Oh yeah.
Damn, I completely blacked out the fact that I said ramp. You get to put a land card too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm on board. I like it a lot. And the last card we're going to talk about today is Ghostly Keybearer. For 3 and a blue, it's a 3/3 spirit creature. Got flying. Says when it deals combat damage to a player, unlock a locked door of up to 1 target room you control. I knew that this kind of effect was going to be coming because when they introduced the doors, I was like, there's going to be a creature that helps you do this for free. Here it is. We found it.
This is interesting. I feel like this is more of a limited piece. Like you have the potential to get some extra value.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be too slow for constructed.
Yeah, it's going to totally depend on how busted these rooms are, I guess, because this is kind of like a one-trick pony, right? If you're not playing with rooms, this card doesn't do anything.
Coming down with like this costing 4 mana too, and having to deal combat damage for it to actually like do its thing.
Yeah.
There's a couple of hoops you got to jump through, and right now standard I feel is a bit too fast for this kind of an effect.
Yeah,
And like if you can stall your opponent out, is this what you want to be doing?
I don't know. Like I said, unless you're playing limited and you built a rooms deck, then sure, this is your enabler, activator, whatever. But it's a spirit, sure. It's got flying, sure. And that's it for today. Short, sweet, to the point. Before we wrap it up, Dave, do you have a favorite?
I do. It's got to be the Grimoire. I don't know if the card's good or bad or somewhere in between, but it is a card and it's very unique.
You're not wrong. Yeah. If I could pick two, I would definitely pick the Grimoire. But I also like Hedge Shredder, that vehicle we talked about in the beginning. The ability just to ramp absurd amounts of land. Really like it. But what about you guys? What were your favorite cards? Leave us a comment letting us know. We love seeing it all. Like the video if you liked this. Down in the description, you'll find a link to all of our social medias. TikTok, Twitter, X, @GuysAtMagic for each one of them. Follow us along. Because we only talk about rares and mythics typically here. If you want to see every single card, that'll be over on our Instagram. Also down in the description, you'll find a link to our Patreon. All these cool guys on screen right now, those are our Patreon members. If you want to be like them and see everything that they're seeing, which is not here on YouTube, it's over on our Patreon. So follow the link and maybe subscribe. And until the next time we talk about more Magic cards, we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Later.